Si se puede apoyar means yes, we can support in Spanish. The idea I want to pose to you today is that prioritizing the importance of supporting Latinx women at the undergraduate level can lead to helping them better understand their identity and helping more of them complete college. This idea can provide a college completion model that can be adopted across colleges and universities throughout the country. But who am I, and why am I talking about this today? Before diving into my idea, I want to share a bit more about my story. I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida, and my family immigrated here from Lima, Peru. I grew up around a predominantly Latinx community, and I had the privilege of always being able to celebrate my identity. I grew up around Peruvian culture. I eat the food, speak the language, listen to the music, dance the dances, and know the history. And the pride instilled in me about my cultural heritage was one that I would take with me throughout my life's journeys. And my family, as you can see, is made up of different generations that all strongly connect to our culture in similar ways. When I started undergrad, I was lucky enough to have my circles filled with people who all had similar pride in their own Latinx cultures. As a student, I was a mentee and a mentor, and I felt seen, represented, and celebrated on campus. I discovered that helping others craft their college experience was something I wanted to dedicate my life to. And so I did. I took a leap and moved to Nashville, Tennessee to pursue a graduate program in higher education. And I quickly realized I was in a place pretty much the opposite to Miami. I was the only woman of color in my program and the only Latina. And I found myself working in a place called the Student Center for Social Justice and Identity at Vanderbilt. This quickly became my home away from home, where I consistently interacted with students of color, specifically Latinx students. When I realized the toll that being Latinx at a historically white institution had, I strived to seek solutions to better help these students feel seen and celebrated on campus in the same ways that I had during my undergrad. I realized that Latinx women struggle when it comes to college completion. Ultimately, addressing this issue started with research. You see, there's actually a huge lack of research within the field of higher education on Latinx students, let alone Latinas. So when I had a class project that required us to choose a population of students that we were passionate about and write a paper on them, I knew exactly what my topic would be. I pushed to have my project guidelines changed and created my own research study. The initial findings of this project opened my eyes to the larger necessity of Latinx-focused research that can inform higher education practice. And so my idea was born. This is how I decided that if we could shift higher education to focus on college completion in unique ways based on research by and for Latinas, then this could be the first stepping stone that, if done right, could cause a collective shift in higher education practice that would view college completion from an intentional and culturally relevant research lens. But what does it mean to be a Latinx woman? To me, being a Latina means I come from, I am, and I will be. I come from a culture of resilience. I come from a family that values hard work. I come from ancestors that have contributed good to this world. I am strong, I am proud, and I am worthy, and I will be. I will be successful, and I will be a change maker, and I will be valued. And what does the Latina student population look like? Currently, only 19% of Latinx women are completing to a college degree. And there are over 1 million Latinx women identifying students in higher education today. very few studies have generally focused on either Latinx students or students of color. And they say that these students benefit from leadership engagement opportunities, mentoring relationships, and diversification of faculty and staff. And when all is said and done, there may very well be truth to these categories of support. But today, I want to offer a twist on these solutions that I believe will have a greater impact. Why? Because I've spoken to so many Latinas across colleges and universities all over the country, and they've told me what they need from their institutions, not just to survive, but to thrive. Don't take my word for it, take theirs. Most Latinas feel their institutions focus on short-term changes as opposed to long-term institutional changes. They often don't see themselves represented in faculty and staff, but when they do, they feel valued in their identity and they seek mentors to help them develop that. In the end, they feel inspired when they see other Latinas on campus. So what do? Let's go one step further. What can we implement on college campuses that are relatively feasible and will have a greater impact than the categories I previously mentioned? Today, I want to offer these 3 methods as a way to shift support for Latinx women on college campuses. Número 1. Many Latinx households grow up with strong female role models. Whether it's our mothers, aunts, grandmothers, cousins, or sisters, we see ourselves in them, and we strive to achieve levels of success, not just for us, but for them too. Growing up and seeing ourselves in leaders around the world is part of breaking barriers as we think about entering college. Maybe it's a friend in our neighborhood, a teacher in high school, a congresswoman, a community activist, or even a Supreme Court justice. If we can see ourselves represented in different areas of life, we will feel like we belong. Similarly, when going to college, if we see ourselves in faculty, administration, or staff, we will experience the classroom in a more positive way. And even if we don't see ourselves represented, if we can find others who empathize with our identities, we can thrive. Número 2. Much like the Latinx community, going to college is about finding yourself, who you are, and celebrating that. Being able to seek out and find friends and peers and mentors is part of being able to create a network that will enhance what it means to go to college. Connecting across levels of age, ethnicity, nationality, culture, and more, and uplifting and amplifying Latinx voices is what can ultimately help Latinas, and by extension, marginalized populations, finish college. Número 3. Countless Latinas that I've spoken to have said they experience imposter syndrome daily. These are feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy, or being lucky to be at college, and definitely not being good enough compared to their peers. If institutions can implement leadership opportunities that directly focus on overcoming imposter syndrome, then we can effectively prepare Latinas for completing college and succeeding at the professional level. These aren't recommendations made by a task force or committee. They are made by and for Latinas, spoken from their souls, and they are things that we can do right now, even and especially at Vanderbilt University. Latinx women matter. There are so many more Latinas on college campuses than what we may originally think. And by improving support of these students, we can cause a collective shift in effective college persistence practices that will be for the better. The lasting effects of these shifts can be instrumental in providing support to additional marginalized populations and transform the way we view college completion. It's not just about getting to a degree. It's about preparing students, making them feel worthy, making them feel like they are enough and that they deserve a degree. It's not just talking the talk, it's walking the walk. Preparing and providing support to Latinas at the higher education level can be the first step in creating unique ways of student support across the country. Latinx women are here, we matter, and we are not going anywhere. And so, es hora de apoyar. It's time to support in authentic and intentional ways that will dramatically improve lives and transform our society for the better. Thank you.